Ladies and gentlemen, I have a really good video for you today. Before we get into the Kamala Harris self-sabotage of her campaign, and Joe Biden, pretty much, he's Team Trump. He's Team Trump. He's all in for Trump because let's not forget, there was a coup by his own party to force him out. So he came in with a coup, he left with a coup, and now he hates Harris. He hates the Democrat Party, and he's doing everything he can to sabotage her, and we're about to get into all of that. But first, this is a huge warning. Send it to all your friends, your neighbors, family members, church members. There is a deep state operation going on online like this. Some guy, Scrambled Eggs is his Twitter handle, says, "Hey, Patriots, remember to send a message to those liberals and scratch their commie candidate off your ballot." And then, he marked that he's voting for Trump and Vance, and then crosses out Harris and Walz. If you do this to your ballot is disqualified and will not be counted. I shared this. I tagged Elon Musk, ALX, George, and I said, this is a psyop to get Trump voters' ballots invalidated. Literal election interference. Now, from here, we're going to go and we are going to watch Kamala Harris on The View destroy her own campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy what happened. Watch.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Well,
so one of her strategies for the last few weeks was separate myself from Joe, distance myself from Joe Biden, from his administration, from his policies. She goes on The View and she is asked, hey, would you have done anything different? No. Actually, not only would I have not done anything different, but I was part of every legislation and law passed. That is where her poll numbers tanked. Now, let me ask you this. Who watches The View? Childless cat ladies who are supposed to be her base. After she said that to the childless cat ladies, they said, we don't want to vote for her. We're voting Trump. But ladies and gentlemen, it gets much, much worse. By the way, Trump truthed and tweeted this. Anyone that cheats in the election is going to jail. He's put this out like 4 or 5 times now. Before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, I do got to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video and the channel overall, and that is Verity Metals. They protect your money from Kamalanomics, and that is a financial crash. Inflation, high gas prices, collapse of the dollar, and bank runs. Through physical gold and silver, which is constitutional money, it is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You just take your money and you convert it into a different currency, and the currency is physical gold and silver. They can't make it out of thin air like they are with the dollar, just printing money from nowhere backed by nothing. But gold and silver is the oldest currency in world history. Matthew, the owner of the company, is a very good friend of mine. Call him today at 480-717-9081. Tell him Vlad sent you. He's got freebies this month. He's got big deals, they have to do with the election. He really wants patriots to protect their money. He believes in gold and silver. I believe that the system we're in is going to crash sooner or later, and physical in your hands, gold and silver, is going to be the new currency, aka the constitutional currency. Links down below. Let's continue. So CNN was actually reacted to Kamala Harris, and we're just going to listen to a little part of what they had to say. And it just shows that even CNN, MSNBC, they're all like, she's done. She cannot survive this.
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Molly, what do you make of that? I'm surprised, frankly, that she doesn't have more to say about this, given that she and her campaign know that this is one of the main questions that voters have about her, and one of the main things.
So everybody, I don't want to make you listen to the whole 7 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the big wrap up. Here's the point of the video and why Kamala Harris's campaign is done. The last 3.5 years, almost 4 years, have been abysmal. They've been a disaster. They've been just disaster after disaster, from Afghanistan withdrawal, war in Ukraine, war in Israel, open border, high gas prices, inflation, right? Human trafficking, fentanyl poisoning. More people died from COVID under Joe Biden than under Trump. And Joe Biden's the one who's got a vaccine, but more people passed away from COVID under Joe than under Trump. And so, I mean, it's just an abysmal, on historic proportions. Iran is now doing whatever they want. And people are like, well, if we vote for Kamala, we want you to be different. She goes on national television and says, me and Joe, we're the same person. And when I said Joe Biden is doing everything he can to undermine Kamala Harris's chances of winning, he has held 2 press conferences in the last 7 days. And in both press conferences, he said that there's not a single piece of legislation or law that he passed without Kamala Harris giving him the okay. And let me quote him, "We sing from the same song." He said that. That's an actual quote from him at one of his press conferences. We sing from the same song. Now, with that being said, you got to show this to all your friends, all your relatives. Voting for her is voting for Joe. You're just extending his policies. You're extending his economy. You're extending everything that we've been suffering through. So if you don't want to die in a nuclear Armageddon, you vote Trump. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. A big shout out to Verity Metals. Again, call my good friend Matthew. He'll take care of you. Make sure to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Trump 2024.